Hi, my name is Eric Halfaker, and today I wanted to make a video about something a little more exciting. We've got a stove here, so we're going to make some fire. This is the MSR Whisperlite International. It can run on kerosene or white gas. Today we have a bottle of white gas. This particular stove I've had now for a few years. It's a little bit dinged up and a little bit dirty, but that's why I feel confident in reviewing it. There are some advantages to using a liquid fuel stove over a canister stove in a place like Alaska. Canister stoves tend to lose their pressure when it gets cold, so they actually act like they're out of fuel long before they actually are. That's not a problem with a liquid fuel stove, however, because we can just pump it up and then it'll have as much pressure as we need it to. And it does fold up, and it fits in this little bag that it came with here. Let's go ahead and unfold that. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to use this thing. Okay, so the first thing we're going to want to do is we need to put this, which is the fuel regulator, into the tank. Got to take off the child resistant cap. And then we insert the regulator and just thread that on. Okay, and then now we need to get this, which is the fuel line, into the regulator, and that goes in to here. Turn it like that so you can see it, and it takes a fair amount of pressure to get that thing in there. And actually, we want to get that little bail, that's the clasp, over here. And then once it's in there, take this clasp here, this little wire, and bring it over and clip it into place. Go ahead and set that where it's even. Now what we're going to do is go ahead and pump some pressure into the fuel tank. And I find that on this size tank, which this is the small tank, this is 11 ounces, the amount of pressure that I need, I can usually get it with about 25 pumps, 25 to 30. What we're going to be doing here is I'm going to open the valve until I can see some wetness on the cloth down there. I want to see some fuel soaking that wick down there. Okay, so I'm going to open the valve here, and I just want to see some fuel in that wick. Okay, you can see that just got wet, and there's a little bit of fuel sitting in that bowl. Now I'm going to go ahead and light the primer bowl, and you can see the flame starting down there. I'm going to try to push a little bit of fuel by opening the valve up just a little bit again. As soon as I got that, as soon as I saw fuel in the bowl, I went ahead and closed the valve. The valve is actually still closed. What we're doing right now is just heating the stove up so that when we put fuel to it again, the flame is going to be blue. So right now, this tall orange flame, that's not what you want to cook on, but it's priming. That is actually what we're looking for right now. And we're going to let that go for a few seconds, probably about 30 seconds it'll take to burn the fuel out of the primer there and get the flame we're looking for. Okay, so as soon as that flame burns down to a blue flame, you can go ahead and open that valve back up. And see those sharp little blue flames down there? That's what we're looking for. It's probably worth noting that this stove is named the Whisperlite, and I'm not really sure who named it, because that resembles more of a jet engine sound than a whisper to me. Okay, now you can see the cup is heating up there, starting to turn red. That's fine, it's not overheating, that's what it's supposed to do. It's burning the soot off from when we primed it. That's also something that's good. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and place a pot. This is actually the MSR Titan kettle, and I've put half a liter of water in it. The reason I put half a liter in there is because half a liter is 17 ounces. It's real close to the amount of water that it takes for one Mountain House meal. And I'm gonna go ahead and time it to see how long it takes to boil. It's probably worth noting that if you were really trying to get this thing to boil as fast as possible, you would want the lid on. I'm gonna leave the lid off so that I can see the second it starts boiling. That will slow down the boil time a little bit. Okay, so our water is at a boil now, and we are right at about 2 minutes. So that's ready to go into a bag of Mountain House, or do whatever we would need to do with half a liter of boiling water. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and turn the stove off, and to do that, all we have to do is turn this valve all the way clockwise, and then as you can see, it goes ahead and dies out. It usually takes it a couple of minutes to burn all the fuel out that's left in the line. You'll see a couple little flames sparking up there. Another thing worth mentioning is that MSR makes a titanium spoon, and this spoon has a wrench head in it. Actually, it has a couple of different wrench sizes there. That's all of the different sizes that you would need to take the stove down in the field and clean it out, clean out the fuel line. Okay, so that's it for our demonstration of the MSR Whisperlite. This 11-ounce tank of fuel will last me and my wife usually for up to a couple of days. They also make a couple other sizes of fuel cans for this. One's pretty close to 20 ounces and the other is pretty close to 30 ounces. Either one of those would last you for quite a while. Your fuel consumption though is going to be based off of what you're cooking, where you're cooking it, how cold it is. But I find that this thing actually does pretty well on fuel. I don't have to bring a heck of a lot with me most times. So overall, real durable little stove, cooks well, boils water fast, pretty economic on the fuel, fairly lightweight, nowhere near as lightweight as an alcohol stove or a canister stove. That's one of the sacrifices you make when you're using a liquid fuel stove. But in certain conditions, like up here in the cold, you don't really have much of an alternative. This stove does come with a wind block. I don't usually bring it with me because I don't feel that it's worth the wait. I'm usually able to find something to kind of construct a little bit of a wind block around my stove. But in conclusion, yes, I would go ahead and recommend this stove to anybody that's looking for a liquid fuel stove, and I've been real happy with it.